Welcome to Innovation Brief by IdeaScale, where we turn your work team into innovators.
It feels like every day the business world changes in some way.
It really does.
And to really lead in this kind of environment, you got to be ahead of the curve, not just responding to it.
Right.
And that's where, I think this idea of business model innovation comes in. It's not just about making a product a little bit better or tweaking something here or there.
Right.
It's about fundamentally rethinking how your company creates and delivers value.
Yeah, and it's fascinating. I think this whole concept forces you to kind of step back and ask, what business are we really in?
I love that.
Like take Netflix, for instance.
Yeah.
They didn't just try to improve DVD rentals.
Right.
They disrupted the entire entertainment industry by recognizing the power of streaming.
It's such a good point.
Right.
It's like that seemingly simple shift actually had a huge impact.
Yeah.
So let's break this down a little bit.
Okay.
What exactly is business model innovation?
So at its core, business model innovation is about challenging the status quo.
Okay.
It's about creating, adjusting, or completely reinventing how your business operates to unlock new value
Okay.
and capture these emerging market opportunities.
No, it's not just a new product. It's like redesigning.
It is. It's redesigning the DNA of your company.
Wow, that sounds pretty radical.
It can be.
Okay.
And that's why it's so powerful.
Okay.
In a world where the only constant is change,
Yeah.
business model innovation is the key.
Okay.
Not just to survive,
Right.
but to thrive.
Yeah.
And it makes your company future-proof,
Mm-hmm.
makes it more resilient,
Right.
and gives you the agility to navigate all this uncertainty we have out there.
So it's going from playing defense to leading the offense.
I like that.
Okay, so we've talked about this. It's a competitive advantage. It's a way to adapt. It's a revenue driver.
Right.
It helps you build resilience.
Yeah.
But let's get specific.
Okay.
How does this translate into tangible benefits?
So for starters,
Yeah.
business model innovation can be a huge catalyst
Mm-hmm.
for attracting investment
Yeah.
and forging powerful partnerships.
Yeah.
Because it demonstrates your forward thinking
Right.
and willing to embrace new possibilities.
Makes sense.
It also helps cultivate a culture of innovation within your organization, empowering your teams to think creatively
Okay.
and challenge assumptions.
I like that.
And maybe most importantly,
Yeah.
it's about ensuring the long-term sustainability of your business by staying ahead of the curve
Right.
and anticipating the needs
Yeah.
of tomorrow's market.
You're painting a very compelling picture here.
Well, good. I'm glad.
So it's clear, I think,
Yeah,
that the potential rewards are massive.
absolutely.
But this is a complex process. It's got a lot of moving parts.
Mhm.
So for our listeners,
Right.
how can we break this down into something that's actionable? Something
Yeah.
they can actually use.
Mm.
What are the core components
Okay.
of a successful business model innovation framework?
It starts with your value proposition.
Okay.
This is the heart of your offering. It's what makes your product or service unique and irresistible
Yeah.
to your target audience.
Right.
It's about solving a problem,
Okay.
meeting a need, or exceeding expectations in a way that no one else can.
It's like the secret sauce that makes you stand out.
Exactly.
Really?
But that sauce needs to be served to the right people.
Oh, that's a good point.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's where understanding your customer segments comes in.
Okay.
And this goes beyond basic demographics.
Mhm.
It's about deeply understanding your target audience,
Okay.
their motivations, their pain points, their aspirations.
You really got to get into their heads.
You really do.
Right.
What keeps them up at night?
Mhm.
What are their unmet needs?
Yeah.
The more deeply you understand your customers, the better equipped you'll be
Makes sense.
to design a business model that truly resonates with them.
So it's about creating a solution
Yeah.
that's so perfectly tailored to their needs that they can't imagine going anywhere else.
Exactly.
Okay, but
Yeah.
even the most brilliant idea is useless if you can't,
Right.
actually make it financially viable.
Right.
So how does revenue generation fit into all of this?
This is where we get into revenue streams.
Okay.
And this is where things can get really creative.
Okay.
Are you selling products, services, subscriptions? Are you exploring a freemium model, licensing, or maybe a completely new approach?
Wow, yeah.
The key is to find the revenue engine
Okay.
that best aligns with your value proposition
Right.
and your target market.
So find that sweet spot.
Yeah, you got to find that sweet spot.
where you're creating value, but also generating sustainable revenue.
Exactly.
It's that balance between profit and purpose.
Yes.
Okay. And once you've created that value and you've figured out how to monetize it,
Right.
you need a way to get it to your customers.
That's right. That's where your channels come in.
Okay.
This is all about how you reach your target audience.
Right.
Are you going to leverage online platforms, traditional brick and mortar stores,
Right.
strategic partnerships, or a hybrid approach?
Interesting.
A key is to select the channels that will most effectively
Okay.
connect you with your customers and deliver your value proposition in a seamless and compelling way.
And you think about all the disruption we've seen
Oh, yeah.
with companies like Dollar Shave Club. I mean, they completely reimagined how men buy razors
Absolutely.
by going direct to consumer and offering a subscription model.
Right.
They bypassed traditional retail channels
They did.
and built, I mean, a hugely successful business.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of how channel innovation can be
Yeah.
a game changer.
Totally.
You know, by rethinking how they reached their customers. Dollar Shave Club disrupted an entire industry.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've laid out a little bit of the theoretical foundation here.
We have.
But let's get into the real world examples that really bring this to life.
I like it.
So we've got this list here of companies
Okay.
that have really mastered business model innovation. You know, Netflix, Uber, Airbnb, Tesla, to name just a few.
Yeah, big names.
What are some of the common threads you see
Okay.
that connect these innovators?
So I think each of these companies dared to challenge the status quo in their industries.
Right.
They looked at the existing landscape and asked,
Right.
what if we did things differently? What if we rewrote the rules?
I like that.
Like take Airbnb, for example.
Yeah.
They saw this opportunity to connect travelers with unique accommodations, creating a peer-to-peer marketplace that disrupted the entire hospitality industry.
And Uber did the same thing for transportation.
Yeah, exactly.
By leveraging technology to connect riders and drivers, they offered a level of convenience and affordability and transparency that you just couldn't get with traditional taxi services.
They didn't just improve on an existing model.
Right.
They created a whole new paradigm.
Interesting.
And that's the hallmark, I think, of true business model innovation.
Okay.
It's about redefining the boundaries of what's possible and creating these new categories of value.
These examples are really inspiring.
They are great companies.
But for our listeners who are leading their own companies, it can also feel a little daunting.
I understand that.
It's one thing to admire these innovators, but how do we actually translate these principles into actionable steps within our own organization?
That's the critical question.
Yeah.
And while there's no like magic formula, there are some proven best practices that can increase your chances of success.
Okay, I like that.
And it all starts with a deep understanding of your customers.
Okay.
This is where the rubber meets the road. You know, it's not enough to just collect data.
Right.
You need to truly empathize with your customers, understand their needs, and anticipate their desires.
You're saying it's not just about demographics or market research.
No, it's much deeper than that.
You need like a deep,
Yeah.
almost intuitive understanding of your target audience.
It's about cultivating a culture of customer centricity within your organization. Where every decision, every product development, every marketing campaign is driven by this understanding.
Of the customer's work.
Of your customer, yeah. Okay, so ask yourself, what are their unmet needs?
Right.
What are their pain points? What are their aspirations?
That's it.
And the answers to those questions will help you unlock those innovative business models.
Well, this makes me think about companies like Apple. They almost have this uncanny ability
They do.
to anticipate what customers want
Right.
before they even know it themselves.
Yeah. That's a great example. You know, Apple has built an empire by obsessing over the customer experience.
Right.
They don't just design products. They design these ecosystems that seamlessly integrate into their customers' lives.
Okay, so it's not just about building a better product.
Right.
It's about building a better relationship with your customers.
It is.
So to do that effectively,
Yeah.
you need to embrace a growth mindset.
You do. This is another crucial ingredient.
We've talked about growth mindset before, but in this context, what does it actually look like?
So it's about fostering a culture
Okay.
of experimentation and continuous learning within your organization.
Okay.
Encourage your teams to challenge assumptions. Embrace calculated risks and view failures as valuable learning opportunities.
So instead of punishing mistakes, you're actually encouraging people to experiment and learn from them.
It's about creating that safe space for innovation to happen.
I like that.
Because in the world of business model innovation, there are no guarantees.
Right.
There's no perfect roadmap to follow.
It's about being agile.
It is.
Adaptable, constantly iterating.
Yeah.
Based on feedback.
It's about embracing the unknown.
Yeah.
And having the courage to try new things.
Right.
Even if they don't always work out.
It's about embracing the journey.
Precisely.
Not just the destination.
Yes. And along that journey, it's essential to leverage data to inform your decisions.
Right.
We live in a world awash in data.
Yeah, we do.
And the companies that can effectively use that data will have a significant advantage.
Okay, but it's not just about collecting the data.
It's not.
It's about understanding what it means.
It is.
It's about extracting actionable insights.
Exactly.
From that data.
Yeah.
So it's not about vanity metrics or chasing the latest trends.
It's about using data to understand your customers, your market, and your own internal operations.
On a deeper level.
On a much deeper level, yeah.
Ask yourself, what did the customer data tell you about their behavior, their preferences, their needs?
Yeah.
What are the emerging trends in your industry?
Exactly.
Data can give you these invaluable insights.
It can.
That can help you refine your business model and stay ahead of the curve.
It's like having a compass.
I like that.
Yeah.
That can guide you through the complexities of the market.
For all the noise.
Okay, so while internal data is really valuable, it's also crucial to look beyond your own walls.
It is.
And embrace external insights. And this idea of open innovation.
Open innovation, yeah.
This is where it gets interesting.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
So it's about recognizing that you don't have all the answers.
Makes sense.
You know, some of the most groundbreaking innovations emerge from these unexpected places.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right. So look to your customers, your partners, industry experts, even your competitors.
Wow. Okay.
And inspiration.
Interesting.
Engage with them, learn from them.
Yeah.
Co-create solutions.
Okay.
This open and collaborative approach can lead to truly transformative breakthroughs.
So it's about embracing the wisdom of the crowd.
Yeah.
Tapping into a collective brain trust.
Yeah, I like that.
Of diverse perspectives and experiences.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate the power of serendipity.
Interesting.
You know, sometimes the most innovative ideas come from these unexpected sources.
Okay.
So the key is to create an environment where those ideas can surface and be nurtured. Encourage your teams to step outside their comfort zones. Attend industry events. Engage with thought leaders.
Yeah.
Be open to learning from anyone, anywhere.
Okay, so it's about fostering a culture of curiosity and intellectual humility.
I like that a lot.
And once you have those sparks of inspiration, those innovative ideas, it's crucial to start prototyping.
Yes.
And building these minimum viable products.
Exactly.
This is where you take those ideas out of the abstract and into reality.
Into the real world.
They're putting your ideas to the test.
You are.
Right? Seeing how they perform.
Prototyping and MVPs allow you to test your assumptions. Gather feedback from your customers. And iterate on your business model before you invest heavily in a full-scale rollout.
It's like a dress rehearsal.
Yeah, I like that.
For your business model.
Yeah.
Right. You get to work out the kinks.
You do.
Refine your approach. Make sure everything is running smoothly. Before you launch to the market.
Exactly. And speaking of launching, when you're innovating your business model, it's critical to think about scalability and long-term viability from the beginning.
So it's not just about coming up with a cool idea.
No.
It's about building a model that can actually grow and thrive.
Absolutely. Can your business model scale to meet increasing demand? Can it adapt to changing market conditions? Does it align with your long-term strategic goals?
So it's like building a house.
Yeah.
You want to make sure the foundation is strong to support future expansions and renovation.
Exactly. And finally, remember that business model innovation is not a one-time event.
Okay.
It's an ongoing process of monitoring, adapting, and evolving.
So even after you've launched your new business model, the work isn't over.
It never ends.
It's about constantly evaluating and refining and adapting to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah, it's not set it and forget it.
No.
It's like tending a garden.
Oh.
You need to nurture it, prune it, adapt to the changing seasons.
Makes sense.
To ensure its growth and vitality.
Right, because the market is constantly evolving.
It is.
Customer needs are shifting.
Right.
New technologies are emerging. You got to be flexible.
You do.
To thrive in that kind of environment.
Absolutely.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
You know, from the core principles of business model innovation to these real-world examples and best practices.
Right.
What are some of the key takeaways you want our listeners to remember?
So I think the most important message is that business model innovation is not just a buzzword or a passing trend.
It's a fundamental shift.
It is.
In how we think about business.
Yeah, in how we build and sustain successful businesses in the 21st century.
It's about moving from a reactive posture to a proactive one.
Yeah.
It's about embracing change, challenging assumptions.
It is.
And constantly seeking new ways to create and deliver value.
And it can be challenging.
It can.
But the rewards are significant.
It's about building businesses that are not just profitable, but resilient, adaptable, and customer-centric.
Absolutely. And for those ready to embark on this journey, there are resources available to help navigate this process.
All right, so that's where IdeaScale comes in.
It is.
For our listeners who are ready to take that next step, what would you recommend?
I encourage you to visit IdeaScale.com.
Okay.
You can book a demo for a free trial and see how our platform can help turn your work teams into innovators.
That's IdeaScale.com. And don't forget to subscribe to the Innovation Brief by IdeaScale.
Yes.
For more deep dives into the world of innovation.
Please do.
We release new episodes every Tuesday and Friday.
That's right.
And we'd love to hear your thoughts on today's discussion.
Yeah.
Leave a comment below. Tell us what resonated with you.
Absolutely.
Or any topics you'd like us to explore in the future.
Yeah, we're always looking for new ideas.
Until next time, keep innovating.
Keep innovating.